lot of information about her. In order to save time, I'm not going to read that to you. But our family, along with the Stivers family and many others in this room, have been involved with the Miss Indiana Scholarship Program and also the Miss Indiana Outstanding Teen Program over the past years. And what a great time it has been to be involved. To see the first Miss Indiana crowned as Miss America. Katie grew up right here in southern Indiana, Seymour, as a matter of fact, if you don't know, on her parents' farm. So we relate to that very well, Katie. She is the youngest of 4 children, has been involved in many activities in Jackson County, including 4-H church, clubs and service organizations, along with participating in sports. She is here tonight to promote her personal platform of community service and community involvement. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome with me Miss America 2009, Katie Stam.
Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, LL, for that wonderful introduction. Since tonight is called Thanks for Giving, the banquet, I want to send out some very special thanks. I noticed in the front cover of your program, there's a lot of thank yous already said there, and I think that all of these people are more than, there's so much need to send a very special thank you out to them. Thankful to Connie Kenninger and Trina Brown for providing the music. It was absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much for that. Keith Colbert, wherever he is, somewhere around here, for being the master of ceremonies, and what a wonderful job he did at that. And also Bernice Williams, who prepared the menu for this evening. Also a very big thank you to the board of directors of the foundation, and also to the staff who make this possible. This is such an inspiring and motivating evening, and I just feel very, very honored and very humbled to be able to be a part of it. So thank you. Thanks from me to all of you for being here and for allowing me to be a part of it as well. For those of you who do not know me, you heard a little bit about me, how I grew up just a stone's throw away up the road in Seymour. And just a real quick fun fact, I didn't know that that these people were going to be here, but Mr. Mike Fleetwood and his wife, we used to go to church together, and his wife used to be my Sunday school teacher. So I tell you what, it's such a small world, and I didn't know that you were going to be here, but what a pleasant and wonderful surprise for me. But growing up in Seymour, Scottsburg and Scott County was such a huge part of my childhood. I have so many fond memories of coming to Scottsburg and doing tons and tons of antique shopping with my grandparents. One of my mother's favorite places to eat is Jeeves and Company. So we come here all the time for that. And then also, I have a very close relationship with Mr. Photo, having him take my senior pictures when I was still in high school, many family photographs, as well as he even took my photographs before I competed at Miss Indiana. So I've come to Scottsburg many, many times and have so many, as I said, wonderful, fond memories here in this community. So it's wonderful to be back, and thank you so much for the invitation and warm welcome. Well, usually whenever I meet someone for the first time, one of the first questions that they ask me is, when did you decide you wanted to become Miss America or even go for Miss America? And I always tell them, and this is the God-honest truth, that I decided I was going to be Miss America when I was 3 years old. And the reason I say that is because I have a picture of myself when I was 3 years old. I'm at my parents' house. I'm sitting in my favorite rocking chair. I've got on one of my mother's slips. It was my evening gown. I'm sitting very proper with my legs crossed and my hands folded in my lap, and I have a makeshift crown on my head. Now, even though I don't quite remember that picture being taken, I do remember growing up, watching the Miss America pageant every single year, greatly anticipating the moment when the next Miss America was going to be crowned, always keeping my fingers crossed that it would be Miss Indiana. We kept getting the top 10, maybe a runner-up. It was always exciting, but a little disappointing. Who would have known it took us 88 years, and it would also take a small-town country farm girl from southern Indiana to do it, right? But we made history. We're now a part of the record book, so we could be proud of that. But I can also remember as a little girl, one of my favorite activities and favorite things to do was to get together with my cousin Janelle, who is my best friend. And we would go over to her house on the weekends. We would go into the pantry and we would find all the cereal boxes. And regardless of whether they were empty or not, we would take them out. We would lay them out on the living room floor. We would draw really elaborate designs on them. We'd cut them out, and then we'd cover them in glitter or tin foil. We'd make crowns out of them. We'd also make sashes. And then we'd get into her mom's prom dresses and bridesmaids' dresses, and we'd go play pretend pageant in the basement and pretend that we were Miss America. So who would have ever thought that I would be as blessed to have lived out a childhood dream that I had set for myself at such a young age? Just how tremendously blessed I am to be a part of the few who get to do that. But my journey to becoming Miss America didn't really start until later on in my life. I didn't do my very first pageant until I was in high school. And there's a couple reasons for that, but I think most importantly, my parents really wanted me to learn responsibility, and teaching me responsibility through making all those phone calls myself and filling out all that paperwork on my own and getting my wardrobe together. They really wanted me to be able to learn responsibility through those actions. And so I waited until I was in high school to compete in my very first pageant. And what a wonderful decision that was, because I was able to find out who I was, what my opinions were, what my beliefs were a little bit more. I was starting to take a little bit more responsibility as well as a little more independence in my life, and was able to be a good representative and a good title holder for an organization. Miss America, however, was my 10th and my final pageant. I don't think I'll be competing in any Mrs. pageants anytime soon, but it was my 10th and my final pageant, and I competed for that at the age of 22. I won the title of Miss America, and what an incredible journey it truly was. As Miss America, I set out to accomplish 3 goals. Number 1 was to raise awareness and funds for Children's Miracle Network, a wonderful organization that in turn raises funds for children's hospitals all over the country. And through this organization, I was able to serve as the National Goodwill Ambassador, a remarkable position that I am very honored and very humbled to hold. My second goal was to be an advocate and a spokesperson for our servicemen and women in uniform, to serve those who serve us every single day by putting their life on the line. And then my third goal, and perhaps one of the most important ones, was promoting community service and involvement, which, as you heard from LL, was my personal platform. Well, I can honestly say that in the 12 months I was given as Miss America, I was able to accomplish everything I possibly could for my 3 goals. But it was through the accomplishments, through the experiences I had, and through the amazing and wonderful people that I met, that those accomplishments and my accomplishments towards those goals didn't have to stop once my years of service as Miss America ended. It has only become an even greater, and I've only been able to make greater strides in a positive direction towards accomplishing those goals for our military, for the kids in children's hospitals, and for our communities all over the country. Well, as I mentioned, one of those goals was community service and involvement. And with that particular goal, I set out to accomplish 2 primary things. One was obviously to inspire others to get more involved in their communities. But the second one was to change the definition of community service and involvement for so many people across the country. And I think all too often, the reason I say this is because I think all too often when we think of community service, we think it has to consist of so many hours that have to be completed in order for it to be considered community service. Or it's a certain type of work that has to be completed in order for it to be community service. But truly, when you think about community service in its most basic form, it's helping others.